Today is 25th of October, one day after the humanity finally got another Katamari game. And this is probably the most important video that will ever be published on this channel. You see, I actually got paid by the Adi Foundation to talk about today's subject, which is small people awareness. Being small, it's no joke. Imagine yourself not being able to reach the top shelves in the supermarket, or risking being trampled over whenever you leave your house, always being looked down upon, or the constant fear whenever any animal or insect comes into presence, as they will see you as a tasty snack. Not to mention the negative in media portrayal, like in the original Super Mario Bros, where being short is a state you desperately not want to be in, and that will lead you to an untimely death more often than not. Was the 1980s Nintendo the proponents of the short people genocide? I don't know, but and then there are the constant jokes and memes aimed at the people suffering from the extrauterine growth retardation. So no, laughing at their problems is no good. The struggles of small kind were an inspiration to many influential, outstanding works of art. For example, the OG Short King, Tom Tom, or the Gulliver Tales, which was a nice subversion of the theme with a normal-sized man ostracized in the land of short people. Hell, the PS2 classic, Shadow of the Colossus, was actually based on the experiences of the lead designer Fumito Ueda with his longtime friend, who was the shortest man in his clique. The game I will show you today perfectly reflects both how dangerous and unfriendly the real world really is for the people of shorter stature, and just how tenacious they really can be. So I hope that after this short presentation is over, you'll appreciate them even more.
The British studio Codemasters was really eating good in the late 90s. I think that everyone who was growing up with the original PlayStation remembers a little rally series signed with the name of a certain Scottish world champion. Yeah, it earned them a lot of money. But even before hitting their gold vein, they were extremely prolific, with one of their top sellers being based on an actual product you could buy in real life. Micro Machines, a toy line of highly stylized miniature vehicles, mostly known for their commercials featuring the world's fastest speaking man.
Talk about small! Micro Machines are less gargantuan than a grasshopper, as midget as a marble, and smaller than a silver dollar.
Hey, Dad!
You want to get more Micro Machines to add to our collection?
No.
And video games. Too bad, as I think that the source material was as good as the games themselves. And the games are, to this day, fantastic. The first two were pretty cool and quickly amassed a lot of fans, but the true potential was achieved with V3 for PlayStation. Sure, you could say that it was just the previous ones, but in 3D. That wasn't even all that good looking, but it had amazing playability, smooth gameplay, and allowed you to play with up to 8 players, which is just plain crazy. The game sold well, really well actually, allowing coders to get a bit more experimental. Exchanging zooming with the titular vehicles, also saving money on licensing, or racing using the most complex and well-engineered movement platform ever designed.
Legacy.
with some vehicular levels added for the flavor. Maniacs is a tale about Dr. Minimizer, a brilliant man who got tired of passively watching the world going downhill thanks to the growing consumption and resource scarcity pushing humanity into constant conflicts with each other. His solution? Shrinking the entire human race in size. But to ensure the safety of the small humanity, Dr. Minimizer prepares a super soldier program by gathering 8, not counting 4 unlockable ones, individuals, shrinking them and making them race around the tracks made in the good doctor's house. As much as the intro and main menu's presentation feels weirdly cheap, as if they were made for the Commodore Amiga, the rest is top notch. I mean, look at this design. I remember seeing them and becoming immediately interested, even if the premise of a top-down on-foot racing game confused me a lot. I also remember having literal nightmares from looking at Mesme, quite fitting for her skill set, when she is just a nice sweet little girl. Unless you're in front of her, then she'll screw with your controls or simply give you a heart attack, thus
killing you instantly.
But seriously, I'm actually sad that we never got Maniacs action figures or something along those lines. They would be perfect for that. Every character comes with a fun backstory and a special ending cinematic unlocked after you finish the challenge mode with them. Yeah, a racing game has an ending cutscene for every character in the game. Sure, they consist of a wall of text and barely moving pictures, but at the same time they made the experience feel complete. And an ending like that is still infinitely more than some games have bothered to do. While there's no difference between the characters when it comes to speed, cornering or jumping, every maniac has 2 very distinct special skills that can be used once they collect these energy balls generously scattered on and around the tracks. The more power-ups one collects, up to 4, the more powerful version of skill will be used, increasing the duration, amount or lethality of the move. Because yeah, you can kill other maniacs, or be killed by them. Every eliminated contender respawns soon after their death, but that doesn't change the fact that it is a painful setback when it comes to the whole race. And yes, harassing your opponents using the special skill set of your maniac is fun, but definitely not so fun when it happens to you. And it will happen constantly. Seriously, there's nothing scarier than being around another runner who activates one of their skills. Special skills reflect their maniac's personalities perfectly, and so astrophysicist Vortex can create traps out of black holes or become a white hole repelling everything. V4, the mascot of the game, and wait a minute. Now I just have realized that his name is not only a play on the V4 engine, but also on the fact that this game is a de facto sequel to V3, even though they released V4 later for PlayStation 2, and it was fairly decent. Anyway, V4 can speed up and ram a maniac that's in front of him with a homing attack, or slowing those behind him with a tailwind, or burning them to a crisp when using the charged up version. Beast like Mau Mau leaves trails of farts or chomps on other contenders' heads, making them run in panic. Now that's pretty fucked up! When having fun, just remember that your attacks aren't discriminating against anyone, so you might as well screw yourself over if you forget about a trap you've set up lap earlier.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Or if your projectile bounces back to you. Power-ups are fun. They are an integral part of the game's personality and make it delightfully chaotic. Although that chaos slowly starts to become the player's bane as they keep getting screwed up, not only by the level itself, but also after finally getting the track layout, going in for the win, getting smacked by their competition, ending up in the last place. Tracks are no joke. They are full of hazards that will kill you instantly. Electricity, fire, sharp objects, or the most common cause of death, gravity. Seriously, the danger of falling down is almost always there, and it hurts more than anything else in the game as the road down adds up to the time it takes to respawn. I would like to give the dishonorable mention to the attic level. I hated it! The person who placed down that slide, which you can and you will easily overshoot, knew what they were doing, and they were just evil. I don't know who hurt you so much that you've put it right there, but I sincerely pity you. The courses are as cleverly designed as they are deadly. You'll know no rest. Seriously, I was crashing out constantly, both in the game and in real life.
Are you okay?
This game is no joke, and you can't even restart the race, even if you already know you won't be able to get the first place because you were late with turning on that first corner, falling down to your doom with no hopes to catch up to the first place. Seriously, just watch the flyover before the race starts and try to memorize as much as you can. Just like in real life, knowing the track layout is the key to success, especially since the camera isn't helping you all that much and the amount of the track you see is quite narrow, so if you're going in blind, you'll constantly have to take guesses, and that simply won't end well. The thing that I super disliked were the track limits. Or rather, how the game enforces them on you. You can't really cut corners, and even the smallest, silliest deviation from the path devised by the designers will teleport you back, ruining your race. It will do that even if the cut wouldn't give you any advantage. And then there are places where you can cut and nothing will happen. It's really confusing, and I didn't enjoy it at all. The deck is just completely stacked against you. Maniacs with power-ups that will kill you, deadly drops, track bounds, environmental hazards, and the fact that one CPU will be blessed with a super competent AI that will breeze even through the sharpest corners. Oh, and I have a really strong hunch that there's some major rubber banding involved too. There's a level running on a slot car course that feels extremely good to race on because it actually speeds you up. It's fairly straightforward, with only few places where you can truly screw up. But even though every Maniac has the same stats, the rival suddenly had a speed boost and overtook me with ease on a straight when I did nothing wrong. It felt unfair, especially as it is an insanely hard stage when it comes to passing orders. Also, the smart CPU is extremely good at jumping and dodging traps, such as mines, so don't rely on them too much. Though dodging traps takes priority, so the CPU can get out of bounds, being overwhelmed by the presence of obstacles, and while the game loves to screw you over, it will punish the computer-controlled maniacs accordingly. Despite how frustrating and infuriatingly tricky the game can be at times, once you finally get comfortable with the tracks and understand how to game the system, once you accept the chaos and stop beefing it up whenever you're pressured by the CPU, then you'll finally reach the gaming nirvana and get some really cool unlocks along the way, as long as you keep being first. While you can progress through the challenge mode with just silvers till the final rounds, that is, remember that getting the second place simply means you're the first loser. Tracks are mostly short and sweet, many of them having a lap time that is within 30 seconds or less, but that's fine in my book. It allows them to be more detailed without becoming unnecessarily complicated. Their layouts are easy to learn, but executing every precise maneuver they require, well, that's an entirely different pair of boots. I would say that it's kind of a shame that you can't crank up the number of laps that each race consists of. If not for the longer endurance stages that go for around a minute, as they have so many places you can screw up that it just wouldn't be fun. What is fun is how much heart and effort was put in when it comes to the track teams. Teaming was pretty solid in the classic Micro Machines. I mean, for some reason, seeing common objects being big enough to serve as obstacles just does something to the lizard part of human brain and squeezes dopamine out of the tegmentum. But in Micromaniacs, the wizards from Codemasters just went completely ape. I mean, racing on the hood of a dirty car or on the model train diorama is pretty cool, not gonna lie. Then there's the photography darkroom with a nice red light filter, with photos being taken each time someone starts a new lap. Okay, that's quite rad. The game takes you to multiple extremely dirty and cluttered rooms, and that actually hits too close for comfort. But then it suddenly hits you with the hard bypass. When I first saw the thumbnail next to the track line, I was dumbfounded. Oh no, they didn't, I thought. But oh yes, they did. And it is as crazy as it looks, if not even more. Racing between medical equipment, climbing up the ECG being printed out, sliding on an IV drip, to then run on an anesthetized patient, dirtying the operating field. There was no need to go as hard as they did, but they clearly wanted it to be memorable. Practically every level has some sort of a gimmick, like having to wait for lasers to turn off so you can pass, riding on a girder, forcing slowpokes to wait for another one, diving into a freaking toilet, or the king of all gimmicks, entering the insides of an old console for a quick mid-lap retro minigame. It's not only a complete change when it comes to the gameplay, being a bit like Frogger, with characters moving in 4 directions and having to avoid obstacles, but also a switch of the regular music track to a chiptune version of it. Really cool. This minigame will also make or break your race. Even the good AI is kind of mediocre at it, so you can catch up or end up dead last during the final lap. Plenty of stages have these set pieces where you kind of stop racing. It may be sliding down, being launched into the air by something, or diving into the toilet bowl. And again, CPUs are kind of really bad at restarts, allowing you to get an edge. You can even jump out earlier when sliding down, which can bring some juicy profits, even if it's risky. There are also levels where maniacs are using other ways of transportation than their legs, be it traversing through the garage on mopeds, jet skiing, skateboarding through half-pipes made out of gutters, making drunk jumps and zooming around. Yeah, that was my favorite. Excellent! Or riding a bee! What's really fun about these levels is the fact that there are no power-up balls anywhere, forcing everyone to race fairly. And it always was really refreshing, to be honest. No bullshit, just you and the speed. It also proves that without the dirty tricks, CPUs aren't that tough. Or maybe they were simply designed for on-foot racing, I don't know. In Maniacs there are 3 modes that you can play. Challenge, which consists of 8 rows of stages. Well, technically 9. The first time you play this mode you have to go through the practice course, which is a pathetically easy oval track, and while I normally like them, this one is just sad. Still, it teaches you how to run well, I guess. While each row consists of 4 courses, you can only pick one. Finishing it will allow you to progress to the next row until you reach the absolute top, which will then reward you with an ending cutscene for your current character. The problem is, as I've mentioned before, that you can't restart your current level if you screw up. You have to finish it. And if you don't qualify, well, you'll lose a life. Lose every single one of them and you'll have to start all over. Each run starts with 3 lives, and you can get more from bonus rounds where you have to collect 30 energy balls in a maze before the time runs out. These are really simple and I couldn't care less about them. Still, an additional life is an additional life. If you fail a stage, you can either try it again or choose another one from the same row. Again, while you don't have to always be first to progress, only with gold medals you'll unlock things. 4 secret tracks and 4 characters are locked behind completing rows, while finishing an entire column will get you a special modifier. These modifiers can be then turned on in the options menu and are fun little distractions, like making the levels more slippery, Nanomaniacs mode, which makes races even smaller, and it isn't just a cosmetic thing, as now the runners won't be able to go over many things, enforcing a whole lot more jumping. Or Aussie mode, which does exactly what you think it does. And also changes the default shout of your character to this.
Wanker! 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 Wanker!
Finishing races also levels up your chosen maniac's skills, allowing you to use more extreme variants that require more power. At first, you're restricted to using power level 2 at most, slowly going up to 4. Of course, even if your skill is upgraded, you still can use weaker versions if you have less power. And that's it for the challenge mode. I know the lives were an integral part of the series from the very beginning, but they don't really add anything, honestly, other than giving the excuses for bonus levels the right to exist, I suppose. Hell, lives are probably the reason we don't have an instant retry button forcing players to live with the consequences of their failures. Both Duel and Time Trial offer individual progression from the challenge mode, but they function practically the same. Duel can be played with up to 7 CPUs or live players. It is the exact replica of the multiplayer from V3. If someone falls behind too much, they are eliminated. If they die and stay dead till the end of the round. The fastest, or the last man standing, wins. Because of how narrow the field of view is, it generates an interesting dilemma. You can, and that seems obvious, rush to the front, so you push the camera further and eliminate people behind you. But because of the camera limitations, you can just run into a wall or something deadly, losing it all. It's exhilarating, tense, and most importantly, fun, even when playing alone. And thanks to it being on a single unsplit screen, the game keeps its frame rate well, even with 8 Maniacs zooming around at the same time. Also, I hate you, Vortex. I hate your stupid black holes, like they are quite big, stay for a long time, will kill anyone instantly, and will suck you in if you're close. Time Trial is, well, Time Trial, a good place to learn the tracks before tackling the challenge mode. It is also the only mode where you can access the secret levels, I think. These levels are okay, but I understand why they weren't a part of the main game. The duel mode and time trials, just like challenge mode, have their individual progression, so if you're into completing everything, well, there's that. But as fun as duel mode is, I kind of wish the multiplayer had an option for a traditional race too, even if it was like 2 players only, to not set the PS1 on fire. Also, if you're feeling really freaky, you can play with yourself by steering 2 Maniacs with 1 DualShock. Or share it with your friends if you lack another one. Whatever rocks your boat. It was present in V3 and allows 8 players to play without the second multi-tap. But it's not the most comfortable way to play a game. It doesn't make it any less cool though. Before ending the video, I would like to discuss the technical side of the game. Environments are memorable and well rendered, with each object clearly representing what it is supposed to be. The color palette used for the tracks is mostly washed out, but it both fits and also helps the runners pop out. Maniacs themselves are quite low in polygons and don't have much in the way of animations, being clearly the weakest link of the graphical presentation. Special effects such as fire, lasers, or the ones associated with special moves are fine. Nothing too impressive, but overall serviceable. Controls are superb. Characters feel like actual objects with weight, and despite being miniature mutants and freaks, they act surprisingly realistic when it comes to running. You're pretty much a slave to momentum, and it's hard to do precise turns or jumps while sprinting at full capacity. Mastering the art of running is very rewarding though, and one who never made a screeching turn into a sharp corner never really lived. Also, moving up slopes and friction affects your speed. Collisions are a mixed bag. They are fun when you push the opponents out of the way, infinitely less fun when you're the one getting pushed or bounce back from a wall. But hitboxes are good at least, unless it comes to grabbing slides. I also had an issue with climbing objects, sometimes while trying to jump, which should make reaching the top much faster. My Maniac would get stuck randomly, wasting precious seconds. Lastly, the music. Codeys are well known for hiring brilliant composers to do their soundtracks, and the one that was cooked for Maniacs by Matt Katz is no exception. It combines weird sci-fi electronica with goofy instruments and effects for a one-of-a-kind mix. There are a lot of music tracks actually, some light-hearted and silly, others plain badass, but all of them will get you going and motivate you to run as fast as you can. I would even say that it is too good and can be distracting. Then again, I'm a person who plays racing games with the music being turned all the way down to concentrate fully on the race itself. Is Maniacs OST something I would listen to in my spare time? Ya bet! It actually went to my playlist straight away. You really want me to say it? Fine. Maniacs is an amazing title that got completely overlooked, and I understand why. The premise was just a tad too weird, and the game itself could prove a bit too tough for its intended audience. It never sold as well as V3, but personally, even though that game rocks, I simply prefer Maniacs. The game just oozes pure charm, dares to do things that most wouldn't do, has a fantastic soundtrack, and is simply a really satisfying experience that keeps pushing the player to do better and rewards them accordingly. And it's a complete blast to play with friends, while being easy enough to understand, making for a great party game. Once you give it a chance, it will grow on you. So obviously, it gets the most sincere recommendation I could give to it. Too bad that after being bought up by EA, Codemasters are doomed to the nightmarish fate of producing yearly F1 titles instead of doing something creative. Not to mention that the Micro Machines series ended up on a horrible note with World series. Ugh. But if a remake or a sequel would ever be in the cards, Codemasters, listen, as I have a character for you, free of charge. Smoke Adrian was a man so powerful that to balance him out, a curse was placed on him that causes him to shrink by 1 micrometer each time someone jokes about his height. By the time Dr. Minimizer's tests started, he was already of the proper size to take part in them without the use of the tech. His wish is getting his old height back, plus a few centimeters more. His first special is Death Pierdol. Smoke takes a swing with his fist, hitting everything in front of him, and while levels 2 and 3 simply send the opponents flying, level 4 actually vaporizes everyone punched, Special 2 is the defensive microbrewery. Level 1 and 2 involve Smog drinking his own made beer, which tastes so bad that it dulls his senses so much that he becomes impervious to any damage other than the force for whole 3 seconds. Level 3 has him drinking some middle-of-the-road beer brand, which also makes him go faster, while level 4 has him enjoying his favorite, putting him on cloud 9 and making him able to cut corners without consequences or not falling down for 3 seconds. Also, on every level other than first, he throws a bottle behind him, which will slow the hit target.
So yeah, be sure to cherish the small people in your life. You never know when they're gonna get lost under the couch cushions or if they're gonna live accidentally being stepped on. That was Hodyna, and I'm really grateful to Adi, Abnormally Dinky Individuals Foundation, for giving me a chance to speak for the small people like my... Ty mały kurwiu!